Hello and welcome to the TDP today, Tuesday, December the 5th, 2023. And just wanted to jump on and get my 10 minutes in and, didn't really have a lot to talk about, I don't think, but just wanted to share my thoughts a little bit. During work, I've been listening, obviously, when I'm not working or when I'm just doing some administrative stuff, I've been kind of listening to a couple podcasts and I actually listened to some of one of Joe Rogan's recent podcasts with an author who wrote a book called The Carnivore Diet. And it kind of got me to thinking. I've always got this internal dialogue going, and that's one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot lately, which I guess when I say a lot lately, it's been going on for a couple of years where I've just kind of thought about what I eat, what we eat as a society, and things like that. And it was very interesting to hear this doctor's perspective, and he's really a big advocate of the carnivore diet. And I actually read a book a while back. This guy's got a book too. I think it's called The Carnivore Diet. I already mentioned that, but I did read the book about the keto diet, and I actually had some great success with the keto diet. I lost about 35 pounds, I think. Went from 260 down to now I'm sitting at about 225, 227. Eventually, I think an ideal place for me to be is closer to 200, but maybe I was thinking about maybe trying like the full carnivore deal, so see how that works. But they actually had a great discussion. I would definitely recommend watching that podcast on Spotify. It's on the Joe Rogan Experience. I can't remember his name, but you'll be able to see it in the details. It's the author of The Carnivore Diet. But one thing I learned from just reading the keto diet book was, see, this is why I always put my dogs up before I do this. Ellie's gotta be loud. But anyways, what I was saying about the keto diet is, when you put your body into like ketosis by staying out of carbs and processed food and those kind of things that really wreak havoc on your body, according to this book, your body starts creating ketones, which will kind of help your endorphins. It helps your body's immune system and helps you fight off certain kind of diseases, including cancer, apparently, according to this. The author of The Carnivore Diet, it's definitely something that people would do well to kind of follow if you're concerned about cancer. Even if you have had a diagnosis, I would definitely look into it, because according to these books and what they're saying is, the cancer cells don't really thrive on carbohydrates or sugars, or they do thrive on carbohydrates and sugars, but they do not on oils and fat. Also, one of the first things that kind of came to my mind listening to it and reading it was, like, what about the balanced diet? What about the food pyramid? Don't your body need all this stuff? But apparently, according to this one I listened to today, what your food eats, it kind of contains those vitamins and nutrients and minerals that your body needs. Like if a cow's eating grass and clover and things like that, then that will kind of come through. I forget, he called it some kind of process, but it's actually in the meat that you eat. So it definitely gives you those vitamins and nutrients that you actually need. So I think it's a very important thing for us as especially here in America, because I feel like we're getting more and more and more unhealthy. So, like, I think people, and I believe this is the age where people are going to do that too. Like, we're really going to be able to pinpoint and use what we know to help improve our health and kind of help on the preventive side to these diseases instead of kind of playing into the hands of these big pharmaceutical and food corporations. If let's say what is some of these big companies that make cereal like Kellogg's, Frosted Flakes, and things like that. Though if people just eat that all the time, and then they get cancer, and then the same people that own these companies probably own portions of the pharmaceutical, if not the whole thing, the pharmaceutical company. So, like, if you spend money, and we're spending billions and billions a year on cornflakes and Frosted Flakes and Cocoa Pebbles and Cocoa Puffs and all this stuff, that's just, they're making money. Their business model's great. And then you get sick, and it's basically another subsidiary, another side to their business in the pharmaceutical side. We're paying them to make us sick. So I think us as Americans, and we need to be more educated and try to fight against that. Just because it's cheaper, just because it's more available, doesn't make it better. I know it, we have a crisis in some areas where people might be food challenged. Maybe they're worried about their next meal, or maybe that's how they get their next meal is because of affordability of it. But I think it's very important to understand what that does to us. I also read a book recently about regenerative farming and kind of like the benefits of that too, where they're not using all of the uh, chemicals and herbicides and pesticides in order to grow our livestock or food. They're actually doing it in a natural way, an organic way, and that there too is another way for us to kind of fight against that and become more healthy. There was actually a really good example on that podcast, and it showed a picture of a 92-year-old woman in Canada who has been on a carnivore diet since she was 14 years old. And you got to watch the podcast. When you see this lady, she does not look 92 years old. She looks, excuse me. I mean, she looks young, and she's 92. And they mentioned that she's kind of getting fed up in Canada with the regulations and kind of the way they're going about their that industry in Canada, and she's looking at buying a ranch in Central America where there's not as many regulations, so she can continue her her ranch style life. And I think it's just amazing to see what people can accomplish when they don't have so many crazy influences on their life, with the regulations and things. One of the things that I can't remember that guy's name for that other book. I'll mention it next podcast in the next show. It's Will something. But anyways, that's kind of what he mentioned. It was really hard to buck the system because he was an industrial kind of farmer, and then he decided to move to the regenerative side. And there's a lot of hurdles that he had to go through and to kind of convert his farm. But the grass fed, and he's not finishing them off with a bunch of garbage just to make marbleized steaks and things like that. So I think it's really something to think about. I have an internal dialogue, and I think about this. What am I eating? How's it affecting my body? How's it going to affect me in the future? Listen to that podcast. It's great. It's great. It really. I think everybody who listens to that should think, that it would definitely be an advantage to to be eating correctly, and not eating correctly, but just eating what's best for our health. And honestly, I hate to be cynical, and I hate to be cynical, but I feel like we've literally been lied to for the past 50 years on this subject, this food pyramid, all the stuff that we're getting sold and the things that get served at schools and hospitals are not healthy. And yeah, that's it. That's my thoughts for today. And I'll be back at it tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Have a good rest of your evening. Deuces.